And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
And away we go here on a Tuesday live, and it is gorgeous. Just absolutely gorgeous out here on the patio. We're at Mark Camara's Furniture Factory Bar and Grill, along with Wes Neighbors. Steve Moulton here with you. Wes, good to see you, sir.
Good to be here.
We are 1 week away from the very first college football playoff rankings. The BCS simulated standings look like this. Your top 10, I'm going to go 10-1. Oregon is 10. Penn State is 9. Texas is 8. Alabama checks in at number 7. Then it's Washington, Oklahoma. Florida State is number 4. Georgia is 3. Ohio State checks in at number 2. And Michigan is your number 1 college football team. That is not the same list, according to Jeff Sagarin, formerly of USA Today. USA Today and Jeff no longer are partners. I didn't know if you were aware of that.
I did not know that.
10-1, it does start with Oregon at number 10, followed by Florida State, then LSU at number 8. Texas is 7, Oklahoma is 6, Penn State 5, Georgia 4, Alabama 3, Ohio State 2, and Michigan 1.
Huh. He loves Alabama this year.
Yes, he does. Bama has played 4 top 30 teams. The Crimson Tide are 3-1 in those games. Has anybody else played 4 teams? I do not see. I see 3,
Has Georgia
2.
or Michigan played any?
Georgia, their record against the top 30 is 0-0.
That's what I thought.
Let's talk a little more college football, shall we? As Coach David Cutcliffe is kind enough to join us down on the Port City in Mobile, Alabama. How are you, Coach?
I'm good. I just heard 0-0. I don't know who you're talking about, but that's not a terrible record just yet.
That was the calculated record for Georgia against the top 30 this year, Coach.
Okay, they hadn't had the of course, it's getting ready to get more difficult. They got 2 one-loss teams right around the corner, and then Georgia, Florida is, when I remember, is the world's largest cocktail party. So I guess anything, right?
Oh, you better believe it. You better believe it, Coach. You ever been to the cocktail party, Coach?
No, I hadn't. I was tempted to go down there this week because I go back to remembering Frank Broyles and his voice and Keith Jackson talking about the world's largest cocktail party. And I think Coach Broyles really enjoyed that. I got to know him. Actually, he interviewed me for the head job at Arkansas one time, and that's another whole long story for another day. But I really liked Coach Broyles.
Well, on the subject of Arkansas, I know a very difficult situation for Coach Pittman to be in, letting his offensive coordinator go. Give us a little mindset from the head coach's perspective when hard decisions have to be made, Coach.
Well, no question. It's the 2 least favorite things you have to do is dismiss a player would need to be number 1, and the second one is to dismiss a coach. And you try to keep that to a last course. But when it is, something you have to do, you're really not doing that person a disservice. And I'm not talking about what's left on their contract. I'm talking about just knowing in your heart when something doesn't and is not working to anybody's advantage. And Sam Pittman is a good-hearted man, a good person, and a good football coach. And I've texted with him. I haven't bothered to call him just because I think it's better left alone than words right now. But, I'll be honest with you, I'm saying prayers for him. That's a hard thing to go through. And the players, that's the first people that you worry about the most. So that's kind of about what I can say about that.
That is Coach David Cutcliffe here on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, and we've been reacting quite a bit to the second half of the Alabama-Tennessee game, but there was a first half as well, Coach. So, well, what did you see in the third Saturday in October, Coach?
Well, I was at the game. I was in the box in the press area, and the person I was sitting next to, I made a statement because people wouldn't believe this, but I tend to do what I did a lot as a head coach is look at the lines of scrimmage. Because long term, that can spell out which way a game's going to turn. And I felt like at halftime that Alabama, particularly as the second quarter went on, started dominating both lines of scrimmage. Tennessee's run game wasn't what it has been, and Alabama's offensive front was not struggling protecting, and they really hadn't gotten a full head of steam running, but you could tell they were blocking. So I told that person, I said, Alabama's going to win this game unless Tennessee changes drastically up front. And it's kind of interesting, I walk the field in pregame warm-up, and I see a lot of people shake a lot of hands, but I always end up going to both lines of scrimmage to watch them work. I watched the D-line at Alabama go against the O-line and vice versa with the Tennessee. And, there's it's always interesting to see that. And, that game has been history, a lot of changes. And to get right down to it, when we were at Tennessee and we had our best chances to play with or beat Alabama, we were really good up front on both sides. And when you're not, and I'm sure Alabama folks feel the same, that's Tennessee football. It gets down into the line of scrimmage to tell the tale, and I wasn't surprised by the second half, to be honest.
So, Coach, when you what are some of the deficiencies you see in these teams? Like in Tennessee, where are they kind of deficient, and then the same with Alabama?
Well, I think there are deficiencies if you'll look anywhere and everywhere in football. Let me just talk about the NFL. Go right, sometime today or tomorrow, look at the scores. Just read the scores over the weeks and look how many drastic changes there are and who you thought was going to win or how many points were going to be scored. It mimics a lot of what is happening in college football. And I hear people talk about, well, it's name, image, and likeness. Might be. It's the locker room. Might be. The transfer portal. Might be. I think it's a combination of a lot of things. But I think, either one of you know the song by Kenny Chesney, Noise? Ever heard of that?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, well, listen to it sometime. Kenny's a friend, but I think we have the deficiencies come when you watch. I go to pro practices, college practices. I just think the focus and consistency that you're looking for, or what I became used to, or what my expectations aren't there. And I think young people are distracted. I fight it, how many times do you find yourself picking up your phone?
Yeah.
We all do, right?
Yeah.
Way too much. And I just don't think that unless you are practicing, literally every snap to win, you're going to see that kind of erratic play, and that's real. I believe that in my heart, it's real. And one of the biggest reasons, I apologize for the ding, and I'm trying to find the place I'm speaking, and it's kind of dinged me here, I think. Finally, I do apologize for that. But yeah, I just think that you become, one of my sayings is practice makes permanent. I used to hate when Coach White tell me, David, perfect practice makes perfect. I could never find perfect, and I was always frustrated. Well, I finally realized there's nobody perfect. It just doesn't exist in any sport. And what practice does, you become what we repeatedly do, right? And I think in my heart of hearts that I don't think I see the consistency on the practice field. And I'm not pointing at any one program or team. You mentioned two teams, Tennessee and Alabama. I'm literally talking about just across the board in football, right? I think it's harder than it's ever been. And I would, in the off season, I'm going to ask a few veteran coaches if they feel the same way.
Well, at least hearing from Coach Saban, as we're talking to David Cutcliffe right now, Coach David Cutcliffe on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, it sounds like Nick is frustrated and pleased at the same time with the amount of youth that he has on this team, Coach.
Yeah, and they are young, and you got to be pleased with that. And, I think, I can't speak for him, but it looks like he likes his team, and he's, he knows they're fighting for every inch, and they're scrapping. And listen, it hasn't been easy to get to where they are with their record. They've had to fight, scratch, and claw to do that. Guess what happens when you do that? You get better. You have second half surges like we saw. You build on it, and you know him well enough. Nobody's going to get complacent around here. That is not going to happen. So, they're getting better.
What do you see out of Jalen Milroe, Coach?
He throws the ball really well. I don't know their offense and what's being taught. I think that, any quarterback that doesn't have an enormous amount of drop back experience, they go through a learning curve, of their eyes, where your eyes are, where they go. And that instant, is so quick. People don't understand what 3.2 seconds is. And that's a long holding the ball. And it's just got a flash, and the best teacher there is experience. I use that term, and I may have told y'all before. I call getting the ball out on time, the name of that is Olivia Manning for me. Why is this? I was in their home, and it was obvious to her finally that Peyton was going to come to Tennessee. She looked at me. I was sitting, I don't know if we were at the kitchen table or where we were, but she looked at me. She said, David, do me one favor. Yes, ma'am. Keep Peyton's uniform clean. Archie was always on the ground. And I said, yes, so in 2.8 seconds, we got the ball out. Okay? We didn't get sacked. And, sacks turn into sack fumbles. That's what I call them, period. It's sack fumbles. For our defensive young people, I try to teach them it's not a sack. It's a sack fumble. The sack isn't good enough. Create a fumble. Where else are you going to hit a ball carrier or somebody has a ball that they only have it in their hand, right?
Yeah.
So, sack fumbles are a problem on offense. Loss of ball, loss of yardage. So, and sacks in general are loss of yardage and down. So, I think that's a big part of him is staying on schedule. And I think they've gotten, used to each other. Got guys starting, and you got a new coach, and we got less practice time than we've ever had in college football. They keep reducing the number, and that doesn't make it that much easier to get a team ready.
That's a really good point.
Though, Coach, they do get more in the summer than
walkthroughs.
With the walkthroughs.
Yeah.
And, the
walkthroughs.
The quote-unquote walkthroughs.
Show me a walkthrough that's 2.8 seconds.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
That's the problem I have with walkthroughs. They're good for meetings. They're not good for practice. Because, again, what did I say? Practice makes permanent. You
Right.
stand
That's
back
right.
there and hold the ball, and guess what? You're going to stand back there and hold the ball. I don't
What do
know.
you?
You guys know I'm crazy about it. I get all wound up and I'll start talking back.
I like it.
This is why we like.
That's why we like it.
We really love talking to you, Coach. Defensively, what do you see out of Alabama, Coach?
I think they've gotten better and better. I don't know how you guys see it, but, I thought Milton played the best half he's played all year long. He's extremely talented. It all felt right, but they never had a consistency against that defense. And so they're coming together. They're tackling well. I think Coach Saban's defenses, I had to play offense against them. They do a good job of bracketing certain things in coverage and carrying certain things and a lot of idiosyncrasies. And I think the secondary is kind of coming of age a bit. I think Kool-Aid's one of the best corners there is out there. I like to watch him play. And, I think the other corner has just been a little bit of a learning process. So I look at it, like I said, I have to look at it like a coach. I look at them on film sometimes like I'm getting ready to play them. And that way I kind of understand them a little more. But my wife thinks, what are you doing watching all this film? You're not coaching. I said, well, I'm crazy. I just, coaching an invisible team right now, right? So, got to let it go at that.
Yeah, so, Coach, it seems like every time we play anybody with a good tight end, he eats us alive. Now I'm talking about Alabama. Of course, they had a good play, a rub, quote, unquote, which was a pick.
Or rub.
Yeah, play. But why does Alabama have such a, and it might be everybody, just has such a trouble covering the tight end?
Well, I can't speak for Alabama at all. I really wouldn't have an idea. I hadn't studied that. But the reason a tight end is the most unique person on the field often athletically is that you got a big, strong guy that can block interior people. You got a big, strong guy that can run and catch it like wide receivers. But what he's got, we have a lot of contested catches today. He's got that big body, and those guys they don't get held. You look at all the hand fighting that goes on in the NFL and at the best level collegiately. When you got a tight end, why is Travis Kelce great? Because he can make all the contested catches.
I thought it was because he dated a girl with $1 billion.
Well, that's job security, right? That's what he tells him. I'm taking tomorrow. Taylor's flying me to dinner in Europe or something. I don't know. But those contested catches are just. I kept the record of them. We pay attention to a young man named Jake Bobo, who, when I left, he grad transferred to UCLA. He made the Seahawks roster as an undrafted free agent, and I knew he would. He's as good a contested catch maker as I've ever been around, period. The receiver, he's knocked out lightning speed. Pete Carroll immediately fell in love with him. DK Metcalf, who I coached his dad at Ole Miss, and my son coached DK in high school. DK called me and said, Jake Bobo's phenomenal. He said, he really can't run, but man, he'll catch anything and around him and near him and take it away from somebody who thinks they've got it. And, he's making it big as a rookie just on that thing. So you're asking why those guys, they're different. They're hard to cover. You ever, when you play basketball, and I thought I was a good basketball player until I got up against not necessarily taller, stronger people on the court. Rebounding, you just feel it. It's the same concept with tested catches. But hey, guys, I'm gonna get ready to have to go. I hate to do it.
You're all good, Coach.
Coach, thank you.
Thank you for the time you've given us.
Y'all have fun and just yay SEC football. It's not going to be normal from now on. You're going to see losses. It's just going to be more competitive. It's like the NFL. And so God bless us all. We got to get used to it, okay?
That's a good PSA right there for all of college football, and especially SEC fans. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate the time, sir. That is Coach David Cutcliffe, kind enough to join us. And so now that he left the door open, I'm going to try to get him back on next week to specifically break down the Alabama-LSU game. That was the one place I didn't go, but interesting his thoughts on what he's seen out of Jalen Milroe.
Oh, yeah. Jalen Milroe, without Jalen Milroe, Alabama would have 3 losses. I think that's really quite obvious. The team has grown along with him, seems like to me. And I saw the same thing. I watched the tape of I think the offensive line is getting better. I think on the 74, on the sack, Coach Saban talked how they're trying to get Jalen to step up in the pocket more, which is not a natural thing.
Yeah.
When you're used to being able to outrun everybody to the corner. And he did it on the big touchdown pass. And I think that if he had stepped up early in the game, he wouldn't have been sacked for a fumble.
Yeah.
You know, when you get to 1, 2, 3, you got to step up because those tackles will be coming around. Now the no hitters there's nothing you can do about that. That's on the tackle, but watch 77 run block. My goodness, still need to come off on the combo blocks on the linebacker. It's the big thing they're not doing. They need to do better. You see him get movement, and all of a sudden the linebacker comes under and makes the tackle. Somebody has to come off and chip on him. So they are getting better, though. I don't know, how good Tennessee is compared to LSU on their defense, but I think I would think they were better defensively. It's the offense of LSU that's so scary.
Mark is your winner of Pick 2 on Friday. Meant to do that right out of the gate, but got distracted with Coach David Cutcliffe. I think we would all be distracted with Coach David Cutcliffe. Charlie Trotman is going to join us at the top of the next hour to talk some Auburn football as Auburn preps for the Cowbells are coming. Mississippi State is on their way to the Plains this weekend as Auburn remains a touchdown favorite. Jordy Armand is going to fill in for me for the remaining hour and a half here as we're walking you up to Game 7 of the NLCS featuring the Diamondbacks and the Phillies. Some guy by the name of Ranger Suarez is on the mound for the Phillies. He took it to the Braves pretty good. He's on the mound tonight. He is a rookie starting in a Game 7 for Philadelphia. We'll see whether or not a man by the name of Ranger will allow the Phillies to play the Rangers in the World Series. So let's go ahead and take our first time out. We'll take your phone calls on the other side at 256-576-4977.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford. It's hunting and tailgate season and time to get serious about an F-150. We've got nearly 140 to choose from, and without a doubt, one of the best F-150 values on the road today is our STX package. You get 290 hard-working horses mated to a 10-speed transmission that'll take you everywhere, from that tree stand to downtown Tuscaloosa. Body-colored bumpers, halogen headlamps, 20-inch machined aluminum wheels, and lots of tech, like a rear-view camera with dynamic hitch assist, which you boaters and RVers will love. A 2023 Woody Anderson Ford F-150 STX packs a punch, but it doesn't cost you a bunch. You can drive one for $474 a month. That's a 36-month lease with $51.66 due at signing, zero security deposit, just tax tag title, and your good credit. Offer ends October 31st. Call 539-9441 for complete details. Come test drive an F-150 STX today. Woody Anderson Ford, hope to see you soon.
The End Zone Sports Bar has done it again. This time, they're bringing their jumbo wings, handcrafted burgers, Tex-Mex, and New York-style pizza to the Midtown District with their new location on McMurtry Drive Northwest opposite the Target Plaza. Tuesdays at the End Zone means half-price burgers, and Wednesday is $1 jumbo wings all day long. The End Zone also features Sunday ticket for all your NFL viewing. The newest End Zone Sports Bar in the Midtown District on McMurtry near the Target Plaza. Get in the End Zone.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. If you've been injured and need a lawyer right now, and pick up the phone to call, you know, one you've seen on a billboard or on TV begging for your business, do you know who you really get?
I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. You want to talk to your lawyer. You don't want to reach a call center, not in some office 100 miles away. With the Lackey Law Firm, that never happens. My clients talk to me.
And me. I'm attorney Justin Lackey. We're the ones that you talk to. We're the ones that you meet with.
And we're the ones who handle your personal injury case. You want to talk to me? You just call me.
And we'll take care of it. You worry about getting well. We'll take care of the rest.
The Lackey Law Firm.
And I'll go you one better. If you can't come to us, we'll come to you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Sitting here with Mark Kent of Southern Fidelity Mortgage Group of Huntsville. Mark, do you help pre-qualify people?
We pre-qualify people all the time, Wes. As a matter of fact, I love having them coming in here because when they come in and they pre-qualify, they can leave my office knowing exactly how much they can buy and have no worries.
Mark, tell me about your rates and pricing.
Well, Wes, this is something we're really, really proud of. Long story short is, I love being able to provide the best pricing in town. Honestly, I cannot tell you the last time I lost a deal to either rate or pricing, something I'm very proud of.
So what all financing options do you have, Mark?
We do several different things. If you're purchasing a home, we can handle the purchase. If you're wanting to refinance your home, of course, rates are at the lowest they've been in the last 3 years. We do a lot of refinancing. If you're building a home, we can handle the entire process from breaking ground to the final close.
Do you sleep with your phone?
Wes, if you want to reach me, you can call me at my office phone, which is 256-562-1000. But always remember, I sleep with my cell phone at night. That number is 256-656-5936.
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer. Call Bill Chapman today at 256-656-8413. That's 256-656-8413. Or find them online at chapmancommercialrealty.com.
This segment of The Drive is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, located online at woodyAndersonFord.com with 2 locations, Hughes Road in Madison and Jordan Lane in Huntsville.
Welcome back. We are out here on the palatial patio, and I'm not Steve Moulton, but I am Drew DeArmond, pinch hitting from Steve as he will be on assignment for the rest of the show. Glad to be here out here at the Furniture Factory, man. There's no wind hardly at all. I mean, it's beautiful out here on the patio. I'm here with Wes Neighbors, and, of course, Jen's going to join us here in a few minutes here in hour 1, and then we will talk to the one and only Charlie Trotman and get his thoughts on Auburn football as they have hit a little bit of a snag. But, I mean, I think anyone who knows football knew this was not going to be easy in year 1 for Hugh Freeze just because of the roster turnover. Been a little surprised at the offensive struggles at the quarterback spot, and we'll get Charlie's thoughts on that, Wes. But they've got an interesting game at home against Mississippi State this weekend. State's another team that's had injuries, and they had to go to Major Wright last week to start in place of Will Rogers. Major Wright, of course, people must not forget, last season and a half or so was the QB at Vanderbilt, and he has transferred to Mississippi State. So could be a low scoring one. Might take the under in Auburn.
Well, just when you think it'll be under, they'll have everybody have 3 defensive touchdowns, block kicks. So,
right.
Yeah, but not look, the other games have been so bad to watch, you know?
Right, it's been tough.
Yeah, it's just tough to watch bad offense. And you got to feel for Auburn. They just can't seem to put it together. And look like they don't have any cohesiveness on offense. for most of the game, they only threw for 44 yards.
Yeah, I mean, they've had trouble. I mean, Alabama, I heard you commenting that how Jalen Milroe's gotten better and grown. He's still only averaging about 11 or 12 completions per game, but Alabama looks like the Peyton Manning-led Colts compared to Auburn throwing the football. Auburn, it has just been a chore, and that's unlike what we've seen under Hugh Freeze. Even when he had Bo Wallace, even in his early days at Ole Miss, they could throw the football. I guess, but one other thing that Auburn that he tried to fix, but it hasn't taken, is the wide receiver core wasn't great that he took over, and even the portal guys they went after haven't done what they were anticipating.
No, I think it's a combination of everything, Drew. They don't have a lot of guys that can get a lot of separation quick. You don't have the offensive line that has been struggled to keep them out long enough to throw bigger patterns, and it seems like to me that the quarterbacks have struggled with not only their reads, and it's just something. I played on a team that had trouble offensively. It's very frustrating. It could be you can have the best play in the world, and 10 guys can do everything right, and that one guy messes up. They've gotten penalties. It's a whole quagmire of things. They do play better at home than they do on the road, and that has been the good thing, no doubt.
We're going to go back out to the phone lines, and this is one of my favorite movies, but we're going to talk to my cousin Vinny on line 1, who's going to join us. I don't know if he's a Nate Oates fan too, but what's up, my cousin Vinny?
Hey guys, how are you? Yes, I am a Nate Oates fan. But
yeah, I love the shirt. I have one.
I was fortunate enough to win tickets to the game the other night.
Oh, awesome!
The other day, and I was at the game. I had Mr. Baumhauer's seats there, and what great seats and everything. And Drew, you were there, weren't you, sir?
As far as Tennessee, no, sir. Our own John Abraham was there.
Oh, well, if you can ask Captain Cole, I've never been in a place so loud in all my life. And I don't know if they mentioned it on the broadcast, the CBS broadcast or whatever, but it was just definitely loud, deafening.
Yes, sir.
It was an incredible atmosphere. And one thing, I sat behind the Alabama bench, about halfway up or so. And, the thing that impressed me most, I think, was just I was watching Will Riker, and he never stopped. He's always kicking into the net or high kicking, like he was kicking off. I mean, the man just never stops. And I tell you what, I think Will Riker is just an amazing football player, and that's amongst everybody else on that team. But it was a lot of fun. It really was, Drew and Wes. And I just wanted to thank you guys very much for drawing my name out of the hat.
Well, we appreciate it, and we thank you for signing up. And we, of course, couldn't do it without, Bob Baumhauer and his help. And we certainly giving away LSU tickets this week as well. And we've been kind of calling it the revenge tour. Well, half of it's gone. Alabama got revenge over the Tennessee Vols. Now will become the even bigger chore, because I was saying this all season, like Alabama needed to beat Tennessee, no question about it. But on paper, I thought even going into the season that LSU is better. They are, except I'll be honest with you, it's been kind of funny. Their defense, of course, is a work in progress, but their offense I thought would be good. It's great. It's probably the best in college football now that Logan Diggs is eligible. And I pointed that out on our morning show today that, we had Mark call in, great caller, and he was talking about how he didn't think this is an LSU team like 2019. And I think the offense really honestly is. And he talked about, they'd already lost 2 games. And you have to understand, Logan Diggs wasn't eligible, and John Emery wasn't playing either. So their top 2 backs are now in the lineup after they play Florida State. Now, and then they lost an absolute shootout against Ole Miss. I mean, this is a 55-49, like Alabama lost to Tennessee last year. So I think their defense is getting better before Alabama gets to play them. I still think it's exploitable, no question about it. And Jalen Milroe has gotten better too, and Alabama's better than when they played Texas. And that's what kind of West makes the matchup fascinating.
Well, yeah. So to me, LSU has one of the best offenses in the nation. Mm-hmm. Their defense still, in the back end especially, has trouble. They're playing some freshmen. Got a freshman linebacker they're playing. They had 5 transfers that were starting at the beginning of the year, all backed up by freshmen, or 5 or 6. So defense is getting better, but how much better, I'm not sure. But their offense had two of the better receivers in the country. They have, you mentioned the running back, but the quarterback's what makes it go.
Yeah. Oh,
he's a running quarterback that can make the throws, and he throws in these tight windows, and these guys go up and get the ball because they're really good. So it's going to be interesting to see how Alabama's able to contain him. What's been frustrating this year to me, the people that have moved the ball on us, is because the quarterback has gotten away from us.
Mm-hmm. The mobility, yeah.
Yeah, it's killed us, really. And this guy's probably the best out of all the ones we play.
And I'm going to be interested. That's another thing I'm going to ask Charlie Trotman when he comes on at 6 West, because he saw this LSU offense, and that's the one time that I thought this year, because Auburn slowed down Ole Miss some. That's the one offense that Auburn, because their defense under Ron Roberts is, I think, overachieved a little bit, and the one they couldn't stop though was LSU. And they just could not slow them down. I think they had 600 yards of offense. So, and Charlie played the quarterback position. And I got to tell you, I thought Jaden Daniels was a good player last year, and I wasn't sold on him though. So I didn't vote him All SEC like first team in Nashville. But I have not. And look, I realized the jump Joe Burrow took from good to great when he was a senior and won the Heisman. I think Jaden Daniels has improved even more than Burrow with his ball placement. I've watched almost all these great quarterbacks, Wes. I watched Oregon, Washington, and I wanted to see Bo Nix, and I wanted to see Penix and all this. I would vote Jaden Daniels for the Heisman right now, even though they got 2 losses.
Well, I don't know if I'd vote him for the Heisman, but I tell you, he's a really good player. He has improved tremendously. He's just a really good player, but I don't think he's as good as Joe Burrow was, though. I mean,
well, no, I'm not saying that yet.
Incredible.
I'm not saying that yet now.
Yeah, so I think that.
But it's amazing that he's getting into the conversation for me, though. I mean, he has a chance.
He deserves to be in the conversation, no doubt.
I mean, I'll say this, because I thought they were dead in the water. If they win out, honestly, Wes, I think now they're going to need Florida State to lose 1 game, to me, but because the ACC is weaker. But if they win out, even with 2 losses, I think they could make the playoff. A lot of things would have to happen, but I don't think it's without question if you beat an undefeated Georgia team in the championship game, which is no lock. But if they did it, I mean,
just the problem they're going to have.
Yeah,
2 losses never made it. A. B is if Florida State just has 1 loss and they win the ACC,
but they beat them. Yeah. That's a good point. I mean, because that's what it'll come down to probably. But I will say this, too. Another thing that could happen in LSU's favor is the Pac-12 might cannibalize each other. I wouldn't be surprised if it does.
There's still so much that can happen.
Because I couldn't believe Arizona State almost beat Washington.
But with 2 losses this year, the SEC team will have a tremendous amount of trouble
hard time
getting in because of the SEC was not very good.
Yeah, you're right. I would agree with that. It wasn't very good early, but I think it's starting to stabilize itself. And we might look back, Wes, by the end of the season and realize what a great game that was between Missouri and LSU.
Oh, yeah, well, absolutely. And it had big ramifications, and Missouri still has a shot. It's going to be interesting to watch this Florida-Georgia, because I don't give Florida any chance at all.
I can't. I mean, but Billy's done a good job, but I mean,
Billy will win 1 he's not supposed to, and lose 2 he's supposed to. So you just never know with that cat.
Yeah, because I thought they would beat South Carolina, and they did, but they looked like they were dead in the water, no question about it.
I hadn't watched it, but from game to game, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it's Georgia is beatable.
Yeah,
I think that's very.
Especially without Bowers, we don't know when Bowers will be back.
Right, yeah.
And I guess that's the big thing I want to see in this cocktail party.
That has to be psychological, too. Now, Kirby does a good job of getting them up, though, so it's going to be a fun game to watch. But I think if they can keep it close, Florida will have a shot to upset them if they can keep it close. You'll know in the first half whether it's a game or not.
Well, yeah, because lately these lately all these Florida Georgia games have been over by the middle of the second quarter because Florida has been overwhelmed, and they were overwhelmed last year. But of course, this Georgia defense is still really good, but it's young. And they've been a little susceptible
to the run.
Yeah.
And when you're susceptible to the run, somebody can give you a lot of trouble.
And even big plays in the passing game, because we had Brooks Austin on. He talked about him having some miscommunication issues in the back end. And then I will say this, Carson Beck has been really good though. He is. I mean, I checked his stats today, Wes, because I'll be the first to tell you. I've been watching it a little bit, but I didn't know what his season stats were. He's on pace with over 4,000 yards.
Yeah, he's played a lot better since the Auburn game, the fourth quarter Auburn game. He played really well. But you got to look who they've played too.
Yeah, their schedule's been weak.
Very weak.
Been very, very weak.
So they play a couple teams that will have, if they play like they did early, that will be able to beat them but Ole Miss, Florida, if they played bad, they had to play real bad, and Missouri.
Yeah,
they have three teams right there. If they play bad, that are capable of beating them.
Yeah, I was looking at that today. I was looking at Florida's remaining schedule. It's the most brutal in the conference.
Yes, no question about that.
I mean, the weakest sister they got is this Arkansas team that can't score, but everybody else is ranked in the top 15 in the country. And so, Napier, he may have to beat Arkansas to go 6-6 and get to a bowl game because he's got undefeated Florida State, he's got Missouri, he's got Georgia. I mean, it's just not going to be easy at all for Florida going forward. I mean, they've got a tough schedule remaining after this game with the Gators in Jacksonville, or excuse me, with the Bulldogs in Jacksonville. That's a tough schedule that Billy's got, because nobody realized at the time how good Missouri was going to be, and now Mizzou has got a chance to win 10 games, and right now Elijah Drinkwitz would be the coach of the year in the league because everybody had him picked near the bottom. I mean, you got to pick him for coach of the year. But remarkable job by Mizzou, and don't forget they had a 22-7 lead on LSU and then lost 49-39 on a late pick six to really seal it. So they took LSU to the brink, which would have been LSU's third loss. So so Elijah Drinkwitz in Missouri, and then Missouri went to Kentucky and just laid waste to them. So to kind of show you that they were the real deal and not Kentucky. So that's something to watch going forward, no doubt.
Well, Missouri has a lot of talent on their football team.
Yeah,
I said it before the season. They don't always put it together very well.
Yeah.
But they have recently.
I'll tell you this before we go to break. I was in the press box in 2018, Wes, for the majority of that season, and one of the home games was Missouri, and Barry Odom coached that team. And, they had Drew Lock at quarterback. They had a lot of good players. They physically were the best team I saw Alabama play in that year. They went 8-5 because they blew some games. They should have won 10, but they were the best team I saw play Alabama in Bryant-Denny Stadium that year. So they can get some good players.
Man, so last year against South Carolina, I watched the game, and Missouri just whipped them. And they gave Georgia all they wanted last year also.
They probably gave Georgia their biggest scare, besides Ohio State.
Really a game they should have won. Found a way to lose it. I don't believe they really they could beat them, but they have some hog mollies that can play now.
No, they really do. Well, we're going to go on a break. When we come back, Jen is going to join us here live from the Furniture Factory out here on the patio. Come see us here at the Furniture Factory.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at North Alabama Mortgage. Did you know that average home equity is at an all-time high? But so is average consumer debt. Even though rates are higher now, you can use your equity to pay off your high consumer debt, student loans, etc., then refi when the rates drop. Don't put off that new home purchase. When rates drop, prices will go up. Buy now and get the best price and then refi when the rates drop. This is the time to talk to the experts at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com for more information.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
Do you have discomfort in your legs? Varicose veins can affect not only how your legs look, but how they feel. Symptoms of varicose veins include pain, swelling, aching, heaviness, and fatigue. Dr. Tracy Lowry of Best Vein Care of Huntsville can diagnose and treat your varicose veins with the latest minimally invasive techniques. Diagnosis and treatment is covered by most insurances. Call 256-715-7151 to schedule your free screening. Go to bestveincarehuntsville.com.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at BobWallaceAppliance.com.
Hi, this is Eli Gold, voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Join us every week for Alabama football right here.
Listen to Alabama football all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome back. We are here with the one and only Mark Camara with us here as well. And Jen, as we said, Jen was going to be on with us. We are here at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. It couldn't feel much better here on the patio. There's no wind. It's beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful.
It is absolutely perfecto weather if you're a person like me that loves the fall. 70 degrees. Gotta love it. Jen, how are you?
Well, I'm better now.
Well, you and Mark are running. Running. Y'all got an event going on, right? Because y'all were running.
I do. Although I
don't run anymore.
I run faster in heels than he does.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Mark looks better in heels, though.
Yeah. Does he now?
Mark's still in great shape. He could go out and play pickup now.
I don't know. Just saying. Well, we're glad to have you.
Yeah, it's always good to pinch hit. Good to be here. I hadn't been here in a minute, and I'm happy to be here.
Okay, so do you normally listen in or not?
I do. I listen when I can, yeah. I have to admit, I have a busy calendar as well, but when I can, I always listen in. And I heard David Cutcliffe today, and he always brings good stuff. And like Steve said, hopefully he'll be on next week to break down Alabama LSU, because it's going to be, as it has been for the last 15 years, the game of the year in the SEC.
It's going to be one of the games, no doubt, but it's the biggest neck game because it's next. But, the more you win in October, and then you start in November, the bigger the games get. So it's every game. You think about how big the Alabama-Auburn, if Alabama beats LSU, then beats Kentucky, how that makes that Auburn game just you're playing for the national championship. Every game from then on, you're playing for the national championship.
And I wanted to talk to Jen about this. This is intertwined into football and the Furniture Factory. You guys do a great job of putting on events here. People plan their social calendars around football. So how is it? What do they usually plan for during bye weeks when Alabama's not playing?
Well, it's always a party here.
Yeah,
I mean,
but they're just giving away $10,000 this weekend.
I mean,
there's nothing going on here.
This is the best weekend of the year here. It's our big Halloween night.
Nice.
Have
there
you
you
heard
go.
about it?
Well, you're going to tell us.
There people be dressed up as Drew.
Oh, there you go.
Sure.
You think? Well, that wouldn't be that hard. But we have a $10,000.
They would just probably have to censor themselves.
$10,000 in awards and then some, probably even more in cash. Don't you love that?
I love it. Everybody loves cash.
Costumes of the year, all that good stuff. We've got the Velcro Pygmies. Don't you like that?
There you go.
The Elvis impersonator, the guy without the legs that does all that Elvis-y stuff. We've just got a whole night of fun. Our Halloween night on Saturday is the biggest night we've ever had.
Oh, wow. So
that's to tell you how fun it'll be.
That answers the question.
And you're going to have to get there early.
Yep.
I mean,
no
early,
cover,
early,
though,
early.
so you need to get here early to get in.
Oh, you better.
We've got new bars we're putting everywhere so people can get drinks, they can get food. We've got Fusion Barbecue coming in to, grill everywhere. It's going to be just a fun place to be.
The idea is this is going to be the biggest party the Furniture Factory's ever had.
I agree. Yes, it is. It's put on by X5.
The X5 podcast.
Yes.
And so it'll be live around the country, I guess.
Back to your question, what do we do about the off? That kind of thing?
Week,
Well, we look forward to when Alabama plays. So their next team they play is LSU, right?
That's right.
So we're going to have this really cool drink called the Dixieland Delight. I'm going to come up with a fun drink, and we're going to do corn dogs.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, and so everyone can have free corn dogs, and they can come in for a drink, and I'm going to have this really cool drink that everyone's going to love. Don't you like that?
Absolutely. We just have to tell people, though, that Dixieland Delight's an Alabama song, not Tennessee one.
Yeah.
That's what they were arguing about.
Oh, really?
Oh,
well, let's not be picky.
Yeah.
I mean, my goodness. All right, so we've got that. Then this whole week leading up is fun. We've got the Waymores on Wednesday, Eric Michael Taylor on Thursday, Space Donkeys on Friday, and then our big old party on the weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be unbelievable.
Yeah.
Fright Night.
Okay,
is something that everybody. I don't think this town's ever seen anything like it. And,
all the people running in here and out of here with costumes. It really is
it's gonna be cool.
Big Earl, Floribama. Isn't that cool? You like Big Earl?
Yep.
He's pretty cool, too.
I've heard of Big Earl.
Oh, we have every building that is just going to be filled with music and drinks and food and fun, all that good stuff. Does that sound good?
Yes.
Yeah?
That sounds awesome.
Because the whole reason that I asked you if you listened is because you're supposed to listen to me because I give great, bets on who's going to win and all that. Right?
Yeah, the picks. Now, do you have any picks this weekend with Alabama being on?
Let's talk about last week.
Okay.
Because I won some and I lost some.
Okay.
Okay, I won Mississippi State.
Yes, you did.
I kind of sort of lost the other one. Penn State. I didn't win that, but I kind of won that 2-1, so I kind of came out even.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, right? Okay, so now let's talk about this week. I'm going to have 2 picks. Okay, so Syracuse, the money line over Virginia Tech. You like that?
The Syracuse money line over Virginia Tech. Got it.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, then I'm going to do 2 bets. Kansas plus 10 and the money line 3-1. So they're going to win hands down over Oklahoma.
Wow, that'd be huge.
Oh, wow.
That would be calling your shot.
Well, that's a shot there. That's calling a shot there.
Well, I like to win my bets.
There you go. I know you do.
There's more tequila.
There it is.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, that would be one of the shots of the year if you call that one.
Yes.
Okay.
No doubt.
Anyway, that's the whole reason
It's that time of year, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's that time of year.
All right.
It gets harder and harder. The air, the more you win, the thinner the air gets. The more people after you, they take it. Everybody wants to be the one that knocks you off, especially if you're not having the best season. You got a little disappointment, and you're thinking, our fan base deserves a big win. We haven't played as well, but we're getting better, and you see it happen all the time.
Yeah, well, a little alcohol helps mellow the whole situation.
Okay.
I don't suggest that if you're trying to cover a kickoff, but
yeah,
if you're watching them cover a kickoff, that'd be good.
Well, that being said, y'all need to come by the factory. We've got a great week of music, fun, laughter, drinks, food, the whole 9 yards.
Well, it's going to be awesome here over at the factory. We always love being here. We thank Mark. We thank you for updating everyone on what's going on. Biggest party ever coming up on Saturday.
Saturday night.
Giving $10,000
Come early. Come on. We're ready to
come
see
early.
you
Come on. No
in a
cover, but
costume.
get here.
Yes.
Parking will be at a premium.
It sure will.
The X5 podcast is.
He's got money guns on the stage. Other than the 10 grand, he's going to shoot another $5,000.
Oh, so they're talking about they're going to shoot 5 more thousand in the crowd. That's going to be
the place to be.
Place to be, no doubt.
Saturday night.
It will be. Well, Jen, thank you.
Thank you.
We always appreciate it, Jen, keeping us updated on the social calendar that is the Furniture Factory, why it sets it apart from any place here in the Rocket City of Huntsville. And be here early and often if you want to try to win 10 grand. And even, as Mark said, you're going to have 5,000 more shot into the crowd. So that's going to be. Somebody better. Everybody just pay attention to yeah. Social media. X5 podcast going to be broadcasting live. So this is going to be an amazing scene, no question about it. And we're about to wrap up this hour here at the Furniture Factory. Charlie Trotman will be joining us at the top of the hour, former Auburn quarterback. Want to pick his brain about LSU because he's already seen them. They took the Tigers out 48-18. Ask him where this Auburn team is because their schedule is lightening up, though, depending on how they can get this offense and these quarterbacks to perform. If they can get the passing game going, they've got a chance to go on a little bit of a run here because they're catching Mississippi State when they're struggling with a quarterback injury. They've still got to play Arkansas. They're struggling. They got New Mexico State. And so this is still this situation. I said if everything fell perfect for Auburn and Nashville, I said they could go 8-4. That's still not completely off the table. I know they're 4-4 right now. They'd have to run the table the rest of the way. But I still think there's a good shot that they could at least be 7-5 and go to a bowl game, which, in hindsight, he would want to have done better than that. He's a competitor. But if Auburn can get back to the postseason and have a shot to win 8 games, including a Bowl West, I think that'd be a success.
Oh, no question. And right now, you take it no matter what. I've lost 4 in a row and haven't won a Southeastern Conference game and really haven't gotten better in a while. I mean, you got to say they got better, but I don't think they're playing as good as they were one time.
I thought Georgia, they were really playing well.
I thought they played well in Georgia, too.
Yeah, I thought both sides of the ball, they competed. They took it to the very end. Brock Bowers had to take the game over, and he did. And so I thought that was Auburn's high watermark so far. And then beating Cal was pretty solid, even though Cal's only a decent team.
Yeah. Auburn did not look good in that game. To me, like you said, I thought they looked good against Georgia. Took them to the fourth quarter, and really have not looked as good since.
Well, Charlie Trotman coming up, everybody. We'll be back in a couple of minutes here at the Furniture Factory.
The Lodge at Guntersville State Park. From the gorgeous long views of the lake from the Bluff Side rooms to dinner at the Pinecrest room, Guntersville State Park needs to be on your bucket list this year. What an ideal place for a family staycation or a romantic getaway. Guntersville State Park has it all. This is a great time to book your visit, and depending on the time of year, you might want to bring the clubs and take in a round at Eagle's Nest. Make plans today to visit the Lodge at Guntersville State Park. If it didn't exist, you'd have to invent it. Guntersville State Park.
Danny, pass the potatoes, please.
Sure, Dad.
And the salt.
Here you go.
And the bucket.
I need the bucket.
The water is dripping in my food.
Honey, can we get the roof fixed now?
Don't wait until the damage is done to call a roofer. Call the experts at Yellowhammer Roofing and let them inspect your roof. Locally owned and operated, licensed and insured. Call 256-232-1933. That's 256-232-1933. YellowhammerRoofing.com.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Nick DeLuca. Basketball is back. Denver is set to defend their title, hosting LeBron and the Lakers. Nuggets raising the banner, favored by 4.5 at the third best odds across the league to repeat as champions. Lakers have the fifth best title odds entering the season. Coverage underway on ESPN radio affiliates. College football, Michigan being investigated by the NCAA around improper in-person scouting that led to stealing of signals. Wolverines head coach Jim Harbaugh already serving one suspension this year. This time, Joe Fortenbaugh thinks things could get ugly.
They're coming for him. He's not going to be able to get out of this. They can say he operated on his own. It ultimately comes back to Harbaugh's doorstep. The buck stops here. It's your program. You're responsible. You can't be the face of all the wins and then be in the shadows when someone's doing this.
Fortenbaugh on Carlin versus Joe. Baseball, NLCS Game 7 between the Phillies and Diamondbacks tonight. Brandon fought on the mound for Arizona against Philadelphia's Ranger Suarez. Both were brilliant in Game 3. First ever Game 7 for Philadelphia. First one for Arizona since the World Series in 2001. First time both championship series reached Game 7 since 2004. Coverage at 7:30 here on ESPN Radio. Elsewhere, Bob Melvin bolting to San Francisco. The Padres manager leaving San Diego to become the manager of the division rival Giants. Padres gave Melvin permission to interview with the Giants earlier this week.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Wednesday, as the Bucs and the Bills get set to face off, I'll tell you why the loser of this game won't make the playoffs. It's unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
Welcome back. This is hour number 2 here from the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill here in the Rocket City of Huntsville. We appreciate their time, and always, Jen gave us an update on the social calendar. It is loaded this week at the Furniture Factory, including on Saturday, $10,000 giveaway, and maybe even $5,000 more. So no cover, get here early, trying to have the biggest party they've ever had. It's going to be a Halloween bash here on Saturday night at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill, but there's a lot of other things going on. Check out their social media, and they are going to have a lot going on starting tomorrow all the way through next week. It's a great atmosphere here tonight, great weather, and now we're going to talk some Auburn football with our next guest. He's part of WTXK The Ticket with Doug Amos and the Max Roundtable. He's also the former color analyst for the Auburn Football Radio Network and a great quarterback for the Tigers in his playing days. It's always great to catch up with the one and only Charlie Trotman, and it's great to catch up with him now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Charlie, Drew DeArmond here. I know it's been a while since we've spoken. It's great to have you on. I'm here with Wes Neighbors. How are you doing this evening, sir?
I'm doing great, Drew, and I appreciate you and Wes having me on, man. It's nice to talk to you guys, and, got a lot to talk about.
No doubt. So last week was kind of another tough offensive outing for Auburn, although they did run the ball well. and that's what they did good last year. At this time last year, were able to win a couple games after they got and get off the snide. What are you seeing, Charlie? What's going on?
Well, we're in a kind of a tough situation right now, Wes, as far as the quarterbacks go. We're platooning, which is difficult for the quarterbacks themselves. It's difficult for the offense. I think it's even difficult for the coaches, and they're just not sure right now what the right chemistry is, what the right combination is for the offense, for the guy that's going to lead the attack. And they're getting in situations where they're obvious positives that you could have. For instance, let's say it's a 3rd and 4 with Robbie Ashford in there. You could run a zone read all day long and have a good chance of getting a first down. At 3rd and 4, a lot of times they'll take Robbie out and they'll put Peyton Thorne in, and there'll be an incomplete pass, and the series ends. The opposite has even happened. I know against Georgia, one of the things that I saw happen was Auburn had a 4th and 1, and had a 3rd and about 3, and Robbie had taken Auburn all the way down the field, and they took him out, put Peyton Thorne in for 3rd down and 4th down. 4th and 1 now with Robbie Ashford back there. That's a difficult offense to defend on 4th and 1. With Peyton Thorne in there, 4th and 1, if he engages the running back into a mesh, he's going to be giving it to the running back 99 times out of 100. So the defense, stopped Auburn at 4th and less than a yard on about Georgia's 25-yard line before the first half, and Auburn would have had a chance to go in with a lead if they had converted there. But there are a lot of things that right now. There was a 3rd and 15 against Ole Miss, and Auburn ran an RPO. Why would you run an RPO at 3rd and 15? You don't want to run the ball, even if the numbers tell you to run it. If you got 5 in the box, the reason there's 5 in the box is because they're defending the pass. But still, you got to throw the ball with 15 yards to go. Auburn ran the ball, got about 7 yards. What good did that do? It just brought on a 4th down and punt. And they asked Coach Freeze about it, and he said, well, that was an RPO, and the numbers just, said to give the ball. Well, it's stupid to have a RPO called at 3rd and 15. Auburn did it again.
That's give up football, right?
Yeah, they did it again at 3rd and 6. West, they had a 3rd and 1 and had a substitution penalty, so it was 3rd and 6. And they ran another RPO and got about 4 yards, and it was 4th down. So, I don't know. It's just a lot going on right now.
So, I was thinking after watching the LSU game, and thinking about, 2 years ago when Auburn played, how well they played in that game, and really was Bo Nix is probably best game ever I've seen him play over there. He was magical, and that was a magical game for Auburn. And then you go to the end of last year, which was also magical, when Cadillac Williams was coaching, and really Auburn said, hey, we're going to run the ball. We're going to run the ball. I know we're going to run the ball. But guess what? They were able to run the ball. It didn't matter. So I don't get why they're not doing that right now.
Well, they tried. I mean, I tell you, right now, Jacquez Hunter, he had a beautiful touchdown run, but he has not been getting much blocking. The other running backs, for whatever reason, Batey and the guy Cobb from Montgomery, they're getting more yards for whatever reason. And I don't know why, but Jacquez Hunter's having a hard time, maneuvering and he's doing everything he can, but the blocking just hadn't been there. So I don't know that this offensive line, they're struggling protecting the passer, and they're struggling making their – they ran the ball pretty good against Georgia. They didn't run the ball very good against LSU, and then they run the ball okay against Ole Miss. But when you score 14 points, guys, you can't win in the SEC. You just can't win in the SEC scoring 14 points. So, it doesn't matter however you slice it. Auburn's got to score more points if they're going to be competitive the rest of the way. I don't know if Will Rogers is going to quarterback Mississippi State or not, but if he does and they throw the ball, they're going to score some points, and Auburn's going to have to score some points to stay with them. Mississippi State should be a win for Auburn, but you never know now because you just don't know. If Auburn puts an offense out there, like they did against Texas A&M or Mississippi State's got a pretty dang good defense too. It could be a sad day at Jordan-Hare.
It could be, and it's great to speak with you, Charlie. And you're right, there's a lot to discuss, but I will say that the last leg of the schedule, the last 5 games, and this 4-gamer coming up, if Auburn can figure out a way to get some production at the quarterback position, they have run the ball pretty well. I think another big issue, though, and we talked about this before you came on, is this is the portal era, but I think that the portal additions at wide receiver have not worked for Auburn so far. In the quarterback's defense, I do like Rivaldo Fairweather. He's an outstanding tight end or receiver, but they just don't have a lot of difference makers that are separating outside to even help these quarterbacks make explosive plays, because you just talked about it yourself, Charlie. You got to score points, and in this era of football, making the 50, 60, 70-yard play is crucial, and Auburn doesn't make a lot of those.
And, guys, there have been some people have been on the quarterbacks, but I will tell you this: the quarterbacks have thrown some quality passes that have just been dropped. We've had several receivers that have, run a little in route, about 10 or 15 yard in route, and they'll throw the ball, hit them right in the hands, they'll drop it. We've had passes that weren't perfect, that should be caught by an SEC receiver that have been dropped. So that hurt us against Ole Miss too. We had 2 or 3 drops that were key drops at inopportune times. So, the defense has been doing, the yeoman's work right now. They're giving the offense plenty of short fields and things like that, but the offense just has not been able to, to take advantage. And I don't know, from a play calling standpoint, it's curious as to, what are some of the calls that they make. But, I'm not sure if Philip Montgomery's calling the plays or if Hugh Freeze is calling the plays. It's hard to say, but I would assume Philip Montgomery's calling the plays. But like I said, when you run a RPO on 3rd and 15, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. To me, it's give up football. And you throw an RPO, you still throw an interception. So why would you even call that, right? It's not like if it is open for the pass, that if you don't want to turn the ball over right there, why you would call an RPO at all?
See, when you call an RPO, the quarterback's job is a run-pass option. So the quarterback comes up to the line of scrimmage, he counts the number of people that are in the box. If there's 5 in the box, his job is to give the ball. But it's 3rd and 15. What are you giving the ball to a running back on 3rd and 15?
Yeah, I get it, yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. You got to throw the ball on 3rd and 15.
There's no doubt about that. I don't – there's a lot – what are the major differences, would you say, from the offense that Cadillac ran at the end of last year and what they're running now. It's a totally different offense, wouldn't you say?
Well, you had one quarterback, number one, that played, and Robbie Ashford got better as the year, went on. He wasn't great at first, but, by the time he got, he played okay against Texas A&M, and Auburn won. And then he played a really, what I thought for him was an outstanding game against Alabama.
I totally agree. I mean, he made the best throw of the year against Alabama, dropped one in for a touchdown, and then made some incredible runs, made some great reads. Let's just put it, Charlie, Alabama had a really good football team last year, lost 2 games by less than a field goal, and Auburn gave them all they wanted in that game.
Yeah,
and Bryant Denny.
Yeah, I thought Robbie Ashford played a really good game that day, and I thought that he could build on that.
I did too.
It didn't seem, when they got Peyton Thorne to come down from Mississippi State, it was obvious that Peyton Thorne was going to start. But Robbie's such a good athlete. They either need to leave Peyton Thorne in there or put Robbie Ashford in there and leave him in there. One of the two. They don't need to keep bringing. On the same series, guys, it's not like they're taking different series.
No,
on
yeah.
the same series, they're running them in and out.
Well, I can see on the goal line you putting Robbie Ashford in the red zone.
Red zone Robbie, yep.
Yeah, but I can't see you just in the same series coming in and out. Yeah, coming in and out. And
no rhythm at all.
No, it doesn't make any sense. And to me, if you were coaching right now and you had to play one, which one would it be?
Well, I would play Robbie Ashford, and I'll tell you why. I think Peyton Thorne is a good quarterback. I don't think he's a great quarterback, but I think he's a good quarterback. I think that he can throw the ball if he's given time. Our offensive line does not give the quarterback time. And in a situation like that, you got to have a guy like Robbie Ashford that can make plays out of nothing and can get you a first down when it's 3rd and 6 and the offensive line protection breaks down. He's got to make a play on his own. Well, Peyton Thorne can run too, and I'm not criticizing his running ability because he runs the ball well too. But Robbie's a different thoroughbred when it comes to running, and I think that he's throwing the ball as well as Peyton Thorne is during the game. Now at practice, maybe Peyton is much better than him. I don't know, but I'm just saying that. For instance, against LSU, first series, I think second play, Peyton has a 5-yard hitch with a tight end and throws it 7 or 8 feet over his head. Robbie Ashford had that same thing, the other day against Ole Miss, hit him right in the chest. So the same plays, Robbie's throwing the ball at least as good, maybe not better than Peyton, but at least as good as Peyton Thorne's throwing it. So from that standpoint, I would play Robbie because I think he gives you that additional running element that, helps the running game, helps the zone read. I just think it gives Auburn a better chance to win.
So what I was told was that Peyton Thorne during practice has really, really good practices and looks like the obvious best quarterback. But I think because of the things you say during a game, he doesn't have the time to throw. He looks like he gets flustered, and it's obvious that whatever they're trying to do in practice is not working because of the deficiencies at offensive line and wide receiver. And to me, you have to have a guy that can, like you say, and I agree with you 100%, make plays with your feet. And with that comes pressure on the defense. And then all of a sudden a guy comes off his guy that's not supposed to. That's when you throw over his head for a big play. Yeah. I just think at this point that if you give this Auburn defense a little help, the wins are going to come your way.
Yeah, I think obviously, guys, one thing I would say is this, and I hate to be critical of Peyton Thorne because, he's come down to Auburn from Michigan, Michigan State. He started 26 games up there. He had a really good year 2 years ago, and he's capable. But you got to have players around him that make him good. And with no receivers, very few, big plays being made by the receivers and people dropping his passes. And then when he's in trouble, he's getting – I don't know how many times he's been sacked this year, but a bunch. And Robbie's been sacked too. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not just Peyton, but I just think Robbie gets out of pressure better than Peyton and can put Auburn in situations where they might convert on a third down when everything falls apart around the quarterback.
Well, Charlie, I respect your football mind so much. I've got to pick your brain because I haven't had a chance to speak with you. I know you were there. You watched the game inside of Jordan-Hare Stadium. But Alabama's going to have a chore after their bye week. They're going to play LSU. LSU, to me, has far and away the best offense in the league. That's the one. I think this Auburn defense has competed all year long. The one game I thought they were overmatched was LSU. How good were the Tigers when you saw them with your own eyes?
They were pretty good. Don't get me wrong. They're very talented. They got a good running game. Their quarterback, to me, Daniels, is a tremendous athlete, and he's 6'4". You don't realize he's as big as he is. 6'4". He's got a big gait, meaning that, when he's running the football, he's fast. He gets away from people. That's one of the biggest things that I think Alabama's got to do. They've got to put somebody on Daniels as a spy, and you cannot let him gallop for 30 yards like Auburn did 3 or 4 times. He gets, Auburn has good coverage, everybody's covered, and then all of a sudden he takes off and there's nobody around. And, he ran for 25 yards a couple of times against Auburn and in touchdown drives early in the game. I think Alabama, if they can avoid a letdown early, kind of like they did against Tennessee, if they can avoid that, I think that they'll beat LSU. But the thing about LSU is they're going to present some problems to Alabama. Not so much from a defensive standpoint. They're a good defensive team, but they're not great, and they give up a lot of big plays in passing games. So I think Milroe and some Burton and some of the guys that Alabama has that get deep, I think that they'll burn LSU several times because I just think that they're vulnerable in that to that extent. But the big thing is that Alabama's got to limit. You can't get in a shootout like Missouri did with LSU.
Agreed.
You don't want to get in a shootout with them because Jaden Daniels is very, very scary in a situation like that. Throws the ball well, runs the ball well, but he hurts you, in my opinion, more running the ball than he does throwing the ball.
Florida State was able to shut that down the second half. And I don't remember exactly how they did it. I think they were spying on both ways out, rushing 3 and spying with the 2. And LSU had trouble blocking them in Florida State. But it looks like the LSU offensive line has improved greatly since then to me.
Yeah, well, they probably have. The one thing I will say is that even Auburn doesn't have a very good pass rush, but Auburn got back in the area where Daniels was all night long, but they couldn't corral him.
Right.
And once he gets out of the pressure, once he gets out of that front four, there was nobody else around. Everybody was in man coverage and running with tight ends and running with receivers and had their backs turned to the quarterback, and he was galloping along the sideline and nobody was paying attention. So if Alabama can do what Florida State did and limit his ability to make first downs with his legs, then I think Alabama wins that game. But if they don't do that and they allow Jaden Daniels to kind of have his way, so to speak, I think it could be a shootout, and that could go either way.
Yeah, well, we found that out last year.
Yeah, that's right.
We found that out last year.
No
I think
question.
Didn't he run 35 yards for a touchdown?
Yeah, and then Dallas Turner took the wrong leverage, and everything's history.
Yeah.
I mean, he scores, and then they go for two.
That guy's dangerous. And,
he is
when
dangerous.
He started, he's 6'5", 6'4", and I'm telling you, the guy's fast. And
he is fast.
He's hard to tackle.
Yeah, he's slippery.
He reminds me, Charlie, his gait reminds me a little bit of Matt Jones from Arkansas.
Yeah, he really does. I mean, that guy took off for a lot of long touchdown runs in his career at Arkansas. And Dan, I don't know if Daniel's top end is as fast as, because he was 6'8" or 6'7" or something like that. But he is extremely, extremely lethal as a runner.
No question about that.
Really is, no question. And Charlie, before we let you go, I thought before the season, if everything fell right for Auburn, it would be 8-4. That is still possible. It seems unlikely, though. What's the best case scenario for this Auburn team starting Saturday in Jordan-Hare Stadium?
I think probably 7-5. If Auburn could beat Vanderbilt, could beat Mississippi State, could beat Arkansas, and I don't know if they can do that. Arkansas, man, they're a hard team to figure out. I mean, they almost beat Alabama, and then they can't score against Mississippi State, and then they're losing these games by field goals and by touchdown and stuff like that. And Auburn's got to play them out there, so. That could be very hard, very difficult win. But I think probably 7-5 is the best that we're probably going to be able to do this year.
Well, I know it's the recruiting is going well. Coach Freeze has reestablished a lot of relationships that weren't had under Brian Harsin. Just that was his biggest issue was recruiting, and Hugh Freeze has always been good at it. And now with this NIL and the transfer portal, he certainly flipped this Auburn roster. I know there'll be a lot of changeover again, but I think he's got a good staff in place, especially defensively. I think they've played hard and played well. So it's going to be interesting to see what they look like and how they finish this year and end up in year two. But, Charlie, we appreciate the extended conversation, and I know you continue to be on with Doug. And we hate we missed you, but you had your other job. You're doing really well. I know in the real estate business and in your other full-time endeavors, but I know you're still a force on the radio in Montgomery, and we always enjoy hearing from you and getting your insight and perspective, and we really appreciate it. And we hope you have a great rest of your week and a good holiday season coming up. But thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. Let me just say real quickly that I'm a big fan of Hugh Freeze. I think he's going to do great at Auburn. It's just a struggle in this first year, kind of like it was for Alabama with Nick Saban in that first year.
No question. You gotta put your stamp on the program, and there's a lot to wade through.
Yep.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Charlie. I really appreciate it. We're going to go on a break. We come back here. You can rejoin us here at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill here in Huntsville, Alabama.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
If you work in a dangerous or logistically intense industry, you know good training can be a challenge. There are training costs, safety concerns, and difficulty replicating real-world scenarios. There's a better way used right now in the Army and in all our armed services to better prepare our heroes, and it's available to you in your organizations. Higher Echelon's Game Development Team is revolutionizing learning in military training, dangerous industry, STEM, and sports performance domains with cutting-edge virtual training that immerses you in lifelike scenarios without the cost and safety concerns for trainees. With Higher Echelon's game-based training, you'll experience realistic simulations, precision accuracy, and unparalleled safety. Higher Echelon founder Dr. Joe Ross is retired Army who played and later coached for the cadets and puts that experience to use. His team has been building cutting-edge virtual training environments for soldiers and clients for a decade. Higher Echelon, the name you can trust for advanced training solutions. Reach out at higherechelon.com to get your free consultation. Go higher and go Army.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
The Huntsville Sports Commission is driven by you, driven by those with grit, determination, and a goal to succeed. This is why we do what we do. The Huntsville Sports Commission promotes an enhanced quality of life in the Huntsville area through sports. We work hard to make sure those who come to Huntsville to compete have all they need to be the best they can be. The Huntsville Sports Commission. We do sports. Find out more at huntsvillesports.org.
Sports Talk 24/7, 365. Your full-time sports station.
You're doing a great job. Keep up the good work.
Is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Doesn't anyone do any work around this joint anymore?
Welcome back. It's getting dark quickly out here on the patio at the Furniture Factory here in the Rocket City of Huntsville, Alabama, but it is still feeling great out here. It's Drew DeArmond here sitting in for Steve Moulton, and we will be taking you up to the top of the hour before Game 7 of the NLCS. We had Game 7 last night, and it was a resounding win for the Texas Rangers, but another great run by the world champion Houston Astros, 7 straight ALCSs, and now we hear that Dusty Baker is retiring, so he got his ring last year in his storied Hall of Fame managerial career. He was just one of the more underrated, under-the-radar, consistent guys. Finally got his championship last year with Houston. This year they fall a little short, but Bruce Bochy trying to get ring number 4 and join that elite company. He's got 3 with the San Francisco Giants, who just made their managerial hire. They poached Bob Melvin from the San Diego Padres. He will be going to San Francisco. So the off season in Hot Stove is about to crank up after this World Series, but tonight in Philadelphia, you will hear Game 7, the Philadelphia Phillies and the Arizona Diamondbacks. I will personally be rooting for Arizona because I cannot stand the Phillies, of course, being a Braves fan, and we are a Braves affiliate. But I know we need to go out to the phone lines, and we will do so as soon as the train comes through here at the Furniture Factory, because I would rather us hear the callers here. So we'll let we'll let the train roll through here before we go to LSU Lynch, because I know LSU Lynch has got some thoughts on the Tigers. The Bayou Bengals heading into the bye, a hot football team. They beat Army 62-0 in Tiger Stadium on Saturday night. Thumped them pretty good. Of course, you heard that game here on our streaming network because we are the home of the Black Knights. But it was a black night for the Knights of the Hudson. But it was a rough one. But again, like we said, LSU's the best offense, I think, in college football. And we are going to go to LSU Lynch now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. What's up, man?
Look here. Let me ask you a question. Okay. Why does Tom Abraham get to come down here from New York and jump on Alabama and not be a Syracuse fan? I mean, what? And y'all pay him money, Wes, and do all that. What's going on?
You know, I asked the same question, but it makes more sense him being an Alabama fan, living in Alabama, than me coming from New York and be a Cleveland fan.
Or a Boston Bruins hockey fan.
So really,
I mean, he's all over the place.
I can't explain. When you start figuring out Tom Abraham, let somebody know.
Amen to that. That's why I call him the czar.
Yeah.
Drew, let me ask you. Okay, my point is, do you remember y'all had a Tennessee fan used to call in? His name was local Tennessee fan is JT. He used to work out with like Scott and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. He wanted me to ask you, because he's sensitive after that Alabama loss. You hear me? He wants to ask you how much you paid the ref.
We didn't pay him near as much as they did last year.
Well, look here, Wes. He said the head ref, the boy out there in a white cap, he's a real estate agent in Tuscaloosa.
He's a what?
And that's why
Real estate guy in Tuscaloosa. He said the white hat's from Tuscaloosa.
Well, you know, you cannot. They're allowed to strike. Tennessee can strike anybody they want. You know, did you notice that guy couldn't run, though? Something was wrong with him? Did you notice that during the game?
I did not notice that. I have to admit it. I know one of them got ran over late. I think it was the umpire. He got run over.
Yeah, he got run over, but it was the white hat on the touchdown run, on the fumble, scoop and score.
Yeah.
He barely could run. He looked like he couldn't run.
Yeah.
He might have been a little bit faster than the guy chasing the Alabama guy, though. I'm not sure.
But look here, and I'm going to hang up because I know y'all got some more callers and everything. But look here, y'all stop. Why everybody is all day, y'all Alabama fans have been saying, look here, Alabama's going to go undefeated. Y'all going to whoop our ass and everything, yada, yada, yada. And then you're going to have to play Georgia. Look here, man. LSU is coming. You hear me? We're coming. We ain't going to bow down this time. It don't matter if it's in Tuscaloosa or not, okay, because I can spell it backwards, okay? But let's just stop all the garbage about, like, how y'all just going to just jump up in there to the playoffs and all that. Okay?
I hadn't said that.
No.
I don't know.
No. I was asked that today on LSU Lynch. I had somebody in another city asking me all about all this, winning out and going to the playoff, and I said, you don't even think about that till you beat LSU. Don't even worry about it.
But even then, you still got
games.
Two road games in the Southeastern Conference.
Yeah. Alabama, they've got to worry about one thing and one thing only. That's beating LSU.
That's North Carolina.
Yeah, they lost to Virginia. Virginia, who couldn't beat James Madison.
Look here. I watched that game, and that game was horrible. Drew, that game was horrible.
It was.
LSU has the best quarterback in the league. To me, they have the best offensive line in the league. They have the best receivers in the league. You know, they have several defensive players that would be considered the best at their position. I don't think as a team they have a lot of transfers and young players still on their defense. That's the reason they've lost 2 games. So, but I said 2 weeks ago I think LSU matches up well with Alabama, and it's going to be a fight. You know, if Alabama plays good, it'll still be a fight for their lives.
I think it's going to – look here, Wes. I think it's going to go down to the fourth quarter. I think that's where it's going to go down. Look here. Appreciate the phone call and everything. I love listening to y'all. Drew, love listening to you and everything.
Thank you.
I'll see you.
So, yeah, but the ins and out of who Tom Abraham pulls for it's shaky all the way around.
Look, I can't figure it out.
He's a Yankees fan.
He's a Yankees fan and a Knicks fan, the 2 New York teams he roots for.
He
Cleveland Browns in the NFL, Boston Bruins in the NHL.
Where they got that?
The Alabama Crimson Tide in college football for some reason. And I'm trying to make sure. I think I got just about all of them because I covered the NHL. I don't really think there's a driver he roots for in NASCAR. I don't know.
I'm sure there is.
I think we hit on all of them, though, I believe. Because, again, we hit Major League Baseball. We hit the NFL. Yeah, we hit
Cleveland
the NBA.
Browns, though, man.
Yeah, the Browns. And all his sons are Browns fans,
they all
too,
sit
man.
up there and just
and they bark like dogs.
Yeah, and they cry.
Well, maybe that's why he's called the big dog, though. Maybe it was because he adopted the Browns when he was a kid. Here's the thing, though. He grew up during a time, and he would have still been a very young man in '86 when the Giants won it all. Because the first pro football team that I adopted for a year or two is I love that '86 Giants team. McConkey, Mark Bavaro, Phil Simms. My first jersey I ever owned in the NFL was Joe Morris. And he went to Syracuse, and he was a great running back. My brother bought a Lawrence Taylor jersey. We both liked the Giants. And then I read this stat. I heard it when I was a kid. I think Jim Nantz or something was doing a game back then. And he said the first team that scores wins the Super Bowl like 85% of the time. And the Broncos scored first, and I was bawling thinking the game was over. And then the Giants scored like 56 in a row.
That had to be, part of the 15%.
Yeah, I was like, wow. I was like, I can't. Well, and Howard Cross was with the Giants for so many years. Your former teammate.
Still up there.
Yeah, he won it all, 90? He was on the 90 team with Hostetler and all those guys. So, and Howard still, as far as I know, right, he's still doing their broadcasting, correct?
Yes. I think he's like the sideline guy.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's still with the Giants organization.
And so is Marty Lyons with the Jets on their team.
Yeah, because I know y'all talked to Marty just several weeks ago.
Yeah.
That was an awesome. I listened to that conversation as well. I mean, anytime you kind of just stop the car when Marty Lyons is on because he does a great job with the Jets, and that we'll never know about the Jets till next year, till they get Aaron back. If they can just keep Aaron Rodgers healthy, they got the bones for a really good team. They're actually still doing more than treading water without him. And it just makes you wonder if they get Aaron Rodgers back, how good the team could be. But I tell you what, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll have our final segment here live from the Furniture Factory. Phone lines open to you, 256-576-4977.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on at advancedlifeclinic.com.
Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford. It's hunting and tailgate season and time to get serious about an F-150. We've got nearly 140 to choose from, and without a doubt, one of the best F-150 values on the road today is our STX package. You get 290 hard-working horses mated to a 10-speed transmission that'll take you everywhere, from that tree stand to downtown Tuscaloosa. Body-colored bumpers, halogen headlamps, 20-inch machined aluminum wheels, and lots of tech, like a rear-view camera with dynamic hitch assist, which you boaters and RVers will love. A 2023 Woody Anderson Ford F-150 STX packs a punch, but it doesn't cost you a bunch. You can drive one for $474 a month. That's a 36-month lease with $51.66 due at signing, 0 security deposit, just tax tag title, and your good credit. Offer ends October 31st. Call 539-9441 for complete details. Come test drive an F-150 STX today. Woody Anderson Ford, hope to see you soon.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list, and maybe a little scary. But it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at GenSuperstore.com.
New coordinators.
That's as good as money, sir.
New quarterback.
It's my quarterback.
Same coach.
All right, and you all may be taking the week off, all right, this week, but I'm not.
We are your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Closing time. Open all the doors and let you out into the world. Closing time. Turn all of the lights on over every boy and every...
Welcome back. Final segment here live at the Palatial Furniture Factory here, Bar and Grill. Wes Neighbors and I outside here on the patio. Now everything is lit up because it has gotten dark quickly here in this time of year, but it's beautiful out here. Still feels great. Come join us here at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Going to partake in some of that great menu after we wrap up here. I'm pinch hitting for Steve Moulton, who's on assignment. He'll be back tomorrow. He'll also be on with me in the morning, pulling double duty on Talking Ball, as Scott Tyson has been on assignment. Scott will be back on Thursday, and Scott and I will be headed out to Tanner, Alabama, here in the outskirts of Decatur, because the Tanner Rattlers are your Bryant Bank Team of the Week. 7-2, 7-game winning streak for them and Oscar Bonds, and we hope to feature Coach Bonds on the show in the morning to award them the Team of the Week, and then we'll be out there to present them with $500 from our great friends at Bryant Bank West. And I know you know a lot of those folks, and they've over the last 4 years with Scott and I, they've donated over $20,000 to area schools. Man, they've been great.
They do a lot for the communities, and really the guys at Bryant Bank and
Kenny Watson and all those, Mike
grew up
Johnson.
with him, playing against him.
Right.
We're the same age, and his best friend was my roommate at Alabama, and what a great people they are, and what great things they're doing for North Alabama.
Yeah, they really are. They're doing a lot of great things. They've opened their new branch. It's beautiful over in Athens, Alabama. They continue to expand. Got 2 locations here, and we wouldn't be able to feature these schools. And now we're doing it throughout the entirety through March. We're going to have Teams of the Week thanks to Bryant Bank through basketball season, through spring sports. And so we appreciate their support so much. And, again, congrats to the Tanner Rattlers. But we're going to go out to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline as we wind up the last few minutes. And Bryce is waiting patiently to join us. Bryce, what's up?
Hey, guys. How y'all doing today?
I'm doing really well. How are you?
Well, I'm doing good. I'm glad we beat Tennessee. Now we got to get ready for LSU. That's the next one. People
no doubt.
Not worry about nothing. Just take it one game at a time. I saw some good positive things. We only had one penalty the whole game. which was a good turnaround on that.
Yeah, don't tell Tennessee fans that, though. They'll have an aneurysm.
They are. Yeah.
When I heard that about they were talking about the officiating, I said, "You got to be kidding me."
Yeah.
Yeah, because without Mo, Larry, and Curley last year, they don't win the game, period. So when you're throwing flags after Kool-Aid's 40 yards downfield.
That's crazy still to this day, one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
Yeah, because even Hendon Hooker thought the game was over. They were all shocked at the flag. So they won that game last year. That can be – I'll just take care for all the Tennessee fans out there. You know what your gift can be for all your loved ones. Just go buy DVDs of last year's game and cry in your beer and watch it.
Hey, I like that, dude. I could have said it better myself. Hey, I got you around Huntsville. My great nephew. Well, you can tell I'm old. Got great nephew. Anyway, he's going to be. He got invited to the Alabama baseball camp. His sophomore at Spartan.
Nice. Very cool, very cool. Coach Rob Vaughn is taking over. They've got a new staff. The only holdover was J.J. Jackson. Coach Vaughn's also brought in one of his the off the field guys. Kind of he's another one of their hitting coaches, Mikey White, who's a former stalwart at Alabama that played at Spain Park, played against that Huntsville High team that won the state championship.
I played with his dad at Alabama.
Yeah, his dad was a football player, right, at Alabama.
Played guard right beside me.
Yeah, wasn't he a Navy SEAL too?
Became a Navy SEAL.
I was going to say that guy. I heard some stories about him.
Yeah, well, you had him on. He was really good.
Yeah.
Hey, Tucker can play any position. He needs pick. That's unbelievable. You know, he can play any position. You know, so I'm looking forward to how he does in camp, and maybe if he keeps improving, he'll get a scholarship.
There's no question, especially if he's already getting that kind of attention, Bryce, as a sophomore in high school. If he's already drawing the attention of SEC schools, he definitely has a bright future, no doubt.
He's not about 6'3", 6'4", about 230. The football coach, I told him he retired, because he wouldn't play football. You remember the guy with what one of the white guys?
LaRon White, good friend of the station.
I told him, I said, well, I hope you're proud of yourself, Tucker. Football coach retired because you wouldn't go out to football. He's so good in baseball, he don't want to play football. That's up to him. It ain't up to me. So the kid, he's got all the tools. I just hope he can keep his head on straight, and he can knock the cover off of it too. So,
well, it'll be fun watching, no doubt.
Hey, what do you think we have to do to beat LSU, guy?
Play the best game we've played all year.
Agreed.
You got to put it together and play a whole game, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, I just think
it'll be a shootout?
I don't, but I think Alabama, to feel good about winning, I think they've got to hit the 30-point mark.
Oh, yeah, more than that, yeah. You got to be in the 30s.
At least that. But I'm really impressed with this team, how they just keep getting better and better. And Coach Saban is doing a heck of a coaching job, him and his coaches, to get this team. They can't go out there flat. They got to play a full game. And I agree with both of y'all, about that.
I would argue they weren't flat, though. I thought Tennessee made some really good – they might have not played their best.
Tennessee had a great first half,
yeah,
man.
That throw
they were on fire.
It was unbelievable.
I thought I really complimented Josh Heupel. I thought he had a great plan on both sides of the ball.
And we just adjusted and had the better team.
Right.
So,
Wes, how'd y'all come out down in South Louisiana?
We got beat on the last play of the game. Had the ball at the 5. It was third down and goal to go from about the 5.5, and Louisiana's down by 3, and they threw and guy was wide open, and the guy didn't put enough air in it, and the defensive back jumped up and intercepted the ball. Game over. They have lost 6. Georgia State, which is a pretty good football team.
They're from Atlanta, yeah.
Yeah, from Atlanta. So,
they've been pretty salty lately.
Yeah, it was the last 2 years. The University of Louisiana has lost 6 games on the last play of the game. 6.
Well, who's coaching down there now?
Coach Devereaux, who was he was a quarterback there for a long time, and was the offensive coordinator when Napier was there. So he's been head coach. He's a good guy. You know, I think he's getting better. They played really hard, didn't play well the first half, got behind, really fought to catch up. The team fought. They just got they got a young quarterback who is getting better and better. Now they're worried about him getting poached by somebody, which is what happened. So, yeah, well, I mean, their best player is number 9 for Alabama. Trey Amos.
Yeah.
Yep, Trey Amos.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, so I mean, it's very frustrating for these schools because they have to do everything right to find the right player, to develop them, and then they get him ready to play, and he's on Alabama's roster, and it's just as frustrating for them as or more, because it's hard. It took them 3 years to get him there. I get it. So I don't like it. Now I think Trey Amos was a graduate transfer.
Actually, I don't think he was. I think he had not transferred in his career, though. He had been there the whole time, and he's got another year eligibility at Alabama. He's got at least one more, which I think he'll use.
Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, thanks for asking. They ended up getting beat. It was heart wrenching. I mean, I had trouble sleeping that night, and I don't have it was an exciting game. It was their homecoming. They had a lot of people there. It was, I mean, that the atmosphere outside that stadium is as good as any D1 school.
Lord, the food, I can imagine.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I mean, the problem is, like LSU, not all of them go in, and a lot of them leave early because they have to.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but you can get food down there in South Louisiana.
There's no question about that. Yeah.
That sounds Cajun.
It's really easy. I just order gumbo everywhere I go.
Yeah, there you go. And we had some killer gumbo in Nashville, by the way.
Yes, we did. Yes. Yes.
We found a good spot over there.
Hey, is y'all's buddy that T-Rob, has he called y'all lately?
T-Bob? No, I watched him. T-Bob looked like so they have a show. He has a show,
off
a podcast.
The bench. Yeah, with Aaron Murray too.
With Aaron Murray.
Yeah, the podcast with Aaron Murray.
There are no 2 worse Bama haters than those 2, because they lost to him continuously. Both of them did. And so I watched it this week, a little bit of it, and it's they're just they were kind of thrown up in their mouth a little bit talking about Alabama, and he said it's kind of hard not to like this team because of the way they play. And it's kind of true. There's just a young team that's getting better. They're not playing the joyless murder ball, which I enjoyed so much. They're fighting. They're having to fight to win these games, and they don't always play perfect or haven't played even close to perfect, and still able to win. And it's just something about this team that I think the whole country's kind of paying attention to right now. But, that'll end in a second if LSU beats us. So you got to, you got to keep getting better. And this is, when I said this last year, I'll say it. This is the week in the years that Alabama's won championships that they open up, and the next game they play so well against LSU. And they get better in the off week. Because if you don't, it's hard to make that run, because they have to go to Kentucky and win, and Kentucky's no slouch, even though they've lost 2 games now. And then of course, going to Auburn is a box of it's a box of chocolates, so it's they still have 2 really the next 3 games are really tough games. So.
Hey. One more thing, guys. I want to ask you intelligent guys, what y'all, the best case scenario, isn't it better, as much as we want Georgia to lose, it's better for them to be undefeated?
I don't think that matters. Right? I think it matters to Georgia. more than it does to Alabama, because one loss Georgia with their season. I think they need Alabama more in there than they need a one-loss Alabama in there than Alabama needs them, to be honest with you. So I don't think Georgia has to be undefeated. No. I mean, it doesn't matter. What I'm saying, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Alabama wins out, goes to the and wins, they're in.
They're in, no doubt. They control their own destiny, but they got it
because of their schedule and how many top 30 wins they have.
Thank you, Bryce. Appreciate it. Appreciate everybody out here at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. It was an honor to sit in for Steve Moulton. We appreciate our guests, David Cutcliffe and Charlie Trotman. We'll be back tomorrow on the drive from 5 to 7. I'm Drew DeArmond. I'll be back on Talking Ball 7 to 9 a.m. with Steve Moulton, also pinch hitting. Everybody have a great rest of your evening, and come join us here at the Furniture Factory.